Everybody, welcome to Monday morning edition of Box Seats. My name is Frank Holder. I'm sitting here with two comedians that you guys have got to have known. If you don't know them, let me tell you real fast about these dudes. They've been in the comedy business for a long time. They've been around for years. Started with Def Comedy Jam. They've been in films, television, festivals, commercials, been in everything all about everywhere in the comedy industry. But this is a show where we talk about sports. So my man Fig is here, my man Talent is here, and I'm gonna start out the conversation by first talking about something that happened over the weekend, which in the world of baseball was huge, except unless you're an Atlanta fan. If you're an Atlanta fan, it wasn't that huge. It was literally like atrocious. Atlanta was up 3-1, and they blew the series to the Dodgers, especially last night. And then Tampa Bay was up 3-0 to Houston and almost lost that. So now the World Series is Tampa Bay, and LA Dodgers, the two of the best teams in the league. So I'm going to ask you both, and we'll start out this conversation by asking you both. Talent, who you got in the World Series to win the whole thing? You got Tampa Bay? Or you got the Dodgers?
Listen, Frank, I told you asked the question about a week ago.
Yep.
Who was most likely to come back in a series and win it? And I told you the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I told you the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are winning the whole thing. You know why? Because they watched this show, Frank, and you scared the hell out of them, talking about firing everybody. What do I tell you? You talk about messing with people's money, they get it together quick. Dodgers, sure.
Dodgers, okay. Dodgers, okay. So, Fig, between the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who you got winning the entire World Series?
Hey man, let me tell you something. When you in New York, you always from New York. The Brooklyn Dodgers will win the World Series. Now I don't care where you place them. They started in Brooklyn in Ebbets Field. Those are the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Okay. I'll say this. I'll leave it at that with you with that, but I will leave it and say this. I think Tampa Bay is going to take them out. I seen them. Those guys got some great pitching. Those guys are going to be phenomenal. But because of Mookie Betts, I would like the Dodgers to win the World Series because you all know how I feel about Mookie Betts. Because once you're in the Boston Red Sox, you're with the Boston Red Sox. I like.
Yeah, that. Whatever. Don't be trying to steal the thunder, baby. Don't steal the thunder.
I would like to see them do their thing. But I've seen Tampa Bay play for 2 years straight. Those boys, you know how it is in baseball. It builds up, and after a while, you finally get over the top. Unless you're Atlanta. I don't know what's going on with Atlanta.
Mookie Betts had a home run save and catch, man.
Yeah, he did. He saved the series twice for them. You know what I mean? So, in baseball, when it's your year, it's your year. Like, nothing can topple you. You all know about baseball, especially if you're at home. When it's your year, everything just seems to line up, and when it's your, you get a break here, you get the ball bounce right here, you get the right catch, you know what I mean? When it happens, it happens. Right now, it looks like it's lining up for the Dodgers, and I think a lot of that to say for Mookie Betts. And I would really like to see the Boston Red Sox management sitting around right now talking about, maybe we should have kept him because they should have kept him.
Hey man, listen, nobody cares. Listen, no matter how the ball bounces. It still ain't no bones in ice cream.
I'll get that later. All right, let's talk about the NFL because it was a big NFL weekend. Let me ask you this, Talent. If you had to pick the two best teams in the league right now after 5 weeks, and some team getting ready to go in 6 weeks, after 5 weeks in the NFL, and you've seen a lot of games played. Let's not count the records. Let's not say who's 5-0 and who's 4-1. You know what I mean? Let's not go that way. Just tell me who you think is the best team out of the AFC and the best team in the NFC. Who would you say, Talent?
In the NFC, I'm still going to go with Green Bay.
Okay.
All right. I still think that's the best team in the NFC. In the AFC, I'm going to say the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
And reason being, we watched them get tested this weekend, and we watched them pass the test. The same way that before that, the Chiefs got tested and they failed.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like the two elite AFC teams that most probable to go the distance and in the front running seat. and they both got tested back-to-back weeks. One passed the test, one did not pass the test. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens and the AFC, and of course I'm staying with Green Bay and the NFC.
Okay, all right. It's very interesting 2 picks, talent. I gotta say, very interesting 2 picks because you know what happened between Green Bay and Tampa Bay yesterday. But Fig, I'm gonna ask you between in the AFC, who's your favorite team, or not say your favorite, who do you think is the best team out of the AFC, and who do you think is the best team right now after 5 weeks in the NFC? Because what Talent said at the beginning of this thing is so true. We did not have a preseason, and everybody's really should be settled in right now after 5 games. You know what I mean? So, who are those 2 best teams you think?
You know, it's kind of it's kind of hard to pick Green Bay after they just got a foot broke off in their ass, man.
It's one game, Fig. It's one game.
It is one game. It is one game. But the game, Lord have mercy. I'm like, good God. I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, the geriatric. I mean, you know, the AARP quarterback. You know, he did the damn thing, man. I was like, God,
disrespectful.
That ain't even a foot. They put a whole leg in there up into the knee. I like look.
I hate this dude.
My 2 top teams, AFC, NFC, whatever, man. The 2 teams I think that can win it all because they play smash mouth football. Other than the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't play smash mouth football, but I'd love to see what they do with the addition of oh God, not Antonio Brown.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. I'd like to see what they do with Le'Veon. But I like Seattle, man. Seattle and Russell Wilson has been playing out of his mind. That's one team, and I know Frank gonna be like, I like Tennessee. Those are my 2 teams because they play old school smash mouth football, and when the weather change and you get an opportunity to play outdoors in inclement weather, the one thing that seems to carry over is the running game and that hard-nosed defense and smash mouth football. If you got a team that needs to air it out to be able to win, it's tough.
Actually,
I think those teams have a good chance.
For the record, I would say I love your 2 picks because they both make sense. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, one of your 2 teams I think Tennessee is the best team in the AFC right now after 5 weeks. And I think out of the NFC, I have to go with Tampa Bay because the way they demolished Green Bay. You know what I mean?
One game, bro.
No, let me finish. Over the weeks as it's been going, Tampa Bay's been getting better and better and better and better.
They have been getting better, but who?
And their defense last night, they shred. When I tell you they went through that offensive line of Tampa Bay, you know,
Green Bay.
It looked like men playing against boys, especially
let me ask you this. Who do you know, Frank? I don't know if you know, but I'm gonna ask. Do you know who the next 3 opponents is for Tampa?
Oh no, not off the top of my head. No, not off the top of my head. But I'll get stacked to look it up. But I will say this: Tampa Bay is playing in really one of the toughest schedules in the league. You know what I mean? That part I do know. They got one of the toughest schedules in the league, and it was said that Tom Brady was crazy at the beginning of the season for even going in because they had the toughest, schedule in the league. You know what I mean? If not the toughest, besides I think it was Baltimore, but they had one of the toughest, which says to me that over the last 5 weeks, as they've been playing and they've been getting better, they're getting scarier. You know what I mean? Like they literally getting scarier and scarier and scarier. So
but can they beat the Jets? That's what I need to know.
You know what, Vic? Me, you, and Talent could beat the Jets. I'll be quarterback. Talent could be wide receiver, and you could be the defensive end. We could beat the Jets.
This is where I draw the line on humor, guys. I'm not gonna be a part of this.
All right, let me ask you guys this. Since we're talking about the Green Bay game and everything else, just a question out there. I know you guys have your separate picks and everything else, but was Green Bay kind of, I guess what the word is, were they kind of what's the exact word? Where they, when people figure you out. What's the word when you say where they figured out? Basically, let's say
exposed. Were they exposed?
If they exposed, were they exposed? Do you think Green Bay was exposed yesterday because everybody was scared of Green Bay? Everybody was talking about Green Bay. Everybody, Green Bay. It was all Green Bay. Green Bay and Seattle. I think Tampa Bay exposed them and showed you how to beat Green Bay. Now, you know what I mean? And they did it every single quarter except for the first 6 minutes in the first quarter. So, do you think it was exposed?
I don't think it's exposure. I think it's a case of you think you know, but you have no idea. Like, I think Aaron Rodgers, his whole career has been playing in a league against a Brady type, right? They've been around for predominantly the same amount of time. Now, you got to understand this. He think he knew. They think they knew going in, right? And what we all know, the fact to be is, offensively, Aaron Rodgers is a force to be reckoned with. However, that line has always been a little suspect.
Right.
Right. So that's why the reason he fits in at Green Bay is because he can be a mobile quarterback. If he was not a mobile quarterback, you would see how horrible the line can be if he had to sit in that pocket all the time. But he's able to get out of there and do incredible things. I don't think it's exposure. I think they're going to do what I always say, homework. They're going to check that homework. And I guarantee you, when they see each other ever again, it won't be the same result. You know what I mean? All of us think that sometimes. Like, I remember my son, as he's growing up playing him in basketball, I whoop his ass every year after every year. And then because I'm used to whooping his ass, by the time he turned 21, 22, I'm thinking it's going to be the same ass whooping. At 20 points in, I'm talking to myself like, okay, this little dude he got bigger. He got game. I'm not letting him hear it, but I'm really doubting. Can I pull this game off? Because things have changed. And I think that nobody knows until they go up against Brady and that new team that all the facets they got working. You ain't going to know until you face them. And yesterday, you see what happened. They put an ass whooping on them that you can't get back from your mama, not with blue belts.
Right, I'm trying to tell you. To me, it looked like they had that game circled on their calendar. You know what I mean? Like it looked like 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were like, we can't wait to play Green Bay. That's the way I looked at it. I was like, they that's why it seemed like they just barely got by a couple of teams. I was like, these guys had this game circled on the calendar. What you think?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh man, first off, I love the analogy with Talent talking about how he played his son. That's when I retired. When I found out that both my sons could beat me in basketball, I was like, you know what? It's time to stop playing. That's how you know. It's time to stop. When your sons can beat you, it's like, you know what? Yeah. Or play in the 50 and over league.
How would they beat you, Fig?
Huh?
How old were they when they beat you? That's when you really know. If they were 12 or 15, oh man, I got the
I just a few years ago when I was in California, we were in California. They got my sons, man. They got good, man, and they not bigger than me.
No, but how old were they?
Faster. I think they was in their 20s, like just 20 years old, around about 20. Okay. You know what I mean? That age where between this is say between 20 and 25 is when they got their young man game on, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I shouldn't do this no more. And I need to play with them. I need to play 21. You know what I mean? Play 21. Because 21, you can rest. You ain't playing no one-on-one, no teams. You play 1-on-1 and you play in spots.
Right.
And then I can keep up with them a little bit, but it's time to give it up. But here's the thing with Tom Brady, and I know that's a long way around, but the thing with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and them, see, Tampa Bay has Kong Su. Let's just call it right. Kong Su and Jason Pierre-Paul on that defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Every team ain't got I don't care how old they are. These dudes are formidable. Ndamukong Suh and Jason Pierre-Paul.
Right.
Yo, man. Ndamukong Suh was in the backfield so much, I thought he had switched positions. I thought he was a run. I was like, yo, when did he join Green Bay? Like, when did Ndamukong Suh join Green Bay? And he's wearing the wrong uniform. He laid on he laid on Aaron Rodgers so much. I thought they was in a relationship. He was whispering in his ear the whole game.
Yeah,
he was like, you know I'm coming back, right? I'm gonna be back. Don't worry. Get up. I'm coming back. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
so I don't know if Green Bay was exposed, but you know, Aaron Rodgers played a horrible game, and they not going to see those guys on the defensive side of the ball every game. That was just Tampa Bay.
Right. Now let's move on. Let me ask you guys about the other game I want to talk to you about was the Browns and the Steelers. And then, of course, I want to talk about the Patriots game, too. But the Browns got smashed by Pittsburgh. And as we all know, leading up, everybody was talking about how great the Browns and Baker Mayfield was looking and everything else. But now after the game, everybody's looking at Baker Mayfield saying, you know what, he's not as good as we thought he was. And he might be the problem. You know, everybody seemed to have turned on the Browns real quick. Talon, after you watched that game, do you think the Browns were overrated? Do you think the so-called experts picked them up too high, or is Pittsburgh really that good?
No, I think that Odell is a game changer, and no matter what team you're on, I think that's what we've seen. What we've seen was such a fantastic performance the 2 weeks before, and then we're like, okay, they got a little momentum because their combination. Now you remove Odell because he's sick out of the situation, dude. When the playmaker goes away, you have no choice but to have messed up plays because you've been practicing with the playmaker. It's like we just watched Lakers win a chip. If you take LeBron or AD out and you've been practicing all this time running plays for LeBron and AD, and then one of them miss a game, you got to understand them plays are not going to get done. I think that's what happened to the Browns. I think when he come back and they find that sync again, you're going to see the same thing we said the last 2 weeks. But this week, your biggest playmaker is gone. There is no getting around that. So I think you've seen the emptiness of that.
Right. I have to definitely agree with that. What was your thoughts, Vic?
Hey, man, the thing is that I think that Monday morning is like it has to be the biggest day for overreaction in the history.
It's every Monday
of sports, man. It's like, yo.
Every Monday.
The team is 4-1. Now they're 4-2, but they were 4-1. There's teams that haven't won a game or won one. The whole NFC, they got one win between them, and you burying this dude? Like, come on! Like the team is 4-2. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but they not the worst team in the league. And then you're gonna throw all of that on the quarterback when he played a better team. He played a better defense. Pittsburgh damn near does that to everybody.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh, I guess the thing is because Pittsburgh is now 5-0, and the talk this morning all over the country is now Pittsburgh is supposed to be one of the best teams in the league. And to me, Pittsburgh played 3 or 4 lousy teams in the AFC. Like they're not the best to me. You know what I mean? Because when you play 3 or 4 lousy teams and you beat them, you're supposed to beat them. You know what I mean? They suck. You're supposed to beat them. So I wouldn't equate them with Kansas City, and I damn sure ain't equating them with Tennessee. That's just my thought. But everybody else is. That's how they look at it. But let me ask you both about this game, because Atlanta got their first win yesterday. Once they switched to coach, they look like a completely different team. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I can't wait to get Stack or Rodney on so they could tell us the insight, because I wasn't able to see the entire game, but I saw a lot of highlights in Atlanta. And now that I guess that brings up, you know how we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about, is it the coach or is it the quarterback? Is it the coach or is it the quarterback? Atlanta seemed to have almost proved my point of it's being the coach. I could be wrong, but Talent, what's your thought? Because Atlanta won yesterday and they look like a really decent team.
Well, what comes to mind, Frank, to be honest with you, is old school sports. Old school sports, when they used to not want to play for somebody, the team would have these private meetings or this unwritten thing where they actually stop playing, stop producing, so that the person could get out of there. Like, if we stop playing and we start losing, they'll get rid of this person. Right. And then we're happy again. Now we play. That's what it looked like yesterday, dude. Because ain't no way in the world you go night and day that disparity, that discrepancy is ridiculous.
Right.
From how they were losing and people mopping the floor with them to looking like the old Super Bowl Falcons. Come on. It seemed to me old school tactics were at play. They stopped producing because they knew they were a few games away from having this guy replaced.
And talent, let's not forget. Remember the special teams play a couple of weeks ago when they all were standing around looking at the ball when the special teams.
Yeah.
Did that not seem like that's almost like you learned that in Pop Warner? You know what I'm saying? Like jump on this ball. What talent? You finished?
No, think about it. Don't it look like what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What
you're saying makes sense because you just look at the Pop Warner play. I call it a Pop Warner play now because this ball just literally kicks 10 yards and everybody in Atlanta is standing there looking at it. When jump on the ball, whether it goes 5 yards, 10, jump on the ball. They all stood there. It was like 7 players. They're standing, the ball just rolling by. They're standing looking at it. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, the coach gets fired. But Fig, what you think?
I think, I talked to some people down in Atlanta, and what I found out is that the new coach had some of the staff from Magic City that came into Atlanta's facilities, and I think that was the motivation for them playing well. And quiet is kept. I think they brought some Sweet Lou hot wings with them. So the new staff and meal plan caused Atlanta to play like a big time team yesterday.
Meal plan. Meal plan.
Nobody saw that coming, man. I was like, everybody, you know what? With the exception of a couple people, man, most people picked Atlanta to lose, man. Yeah, and it's crazy. It changed your coach, it changed your culture. And one thing about when you change a coach that talent didn't say, which I really do believe, is that when you change management, people sort of step up and do things differently, because usually with a change of management can mean a change of staff also. Mm-hmm. So your job could also be on the line if you don't play well, especially when the management change. You get a new coach, you'd be like, you know what? We need to switch this dude. Everybody steps up and they start to play different. But I can't discount what he said about it looks like they was playing a little politics, especially on that kickoff, standing around looking at the football like a hot potato. It's like, yo, jump on the ball, stupid. Yeah, you learn this as a kid. That's the first thing you do on a kickoff. If somebody's trying to, as soon as they kick it off, I don't care if it go 2 yards, you could jump on it.
Right. Let me even ask you all this. Does it seem like to you that Atlanta is not only turning around the corner? Are they going to go down? Are they going to start line up like after Houston? Because look at even though Houston lost yesterday, they played really, really well. They could have won that game against Tennessee. The ball bounces one way or another, or they basically hold them off the line the last 5 seconds of the game. They might have won that game. But are they going to turn things around like you think, like how Houston is doing, or do you think was that one game a fluke? You know what I mean? Going along the lines of what you guys just said. You know what I mean? Like, could that be? Is Atlanta on the right track?
Yeah.
Is Atlanta
I think that's the beginning of the new Atlanta. I think that I'm telling you, in my bones is telling me that we just stopped playing for this guy. We don't want this guy here. We don't like this guy. It's the same thing they say about Gates. Like yesterday game, you got the Jets against Miami. Both teams hate him.
Yeah.
These guys don't like him. Got rid of him. Now you over here. They don't want to play for you. So I think, because that's the way it used to be in sports. So I think now he's gone, and you're going to start to see, because let's keep it real. We all know coming into the season, Atlanta's a very talented team. They had the pieces. It's not like we're looking at a team that need pieces or need to be put together. They was already together. But I think something with this guy, player, coach, we don't want to play for him. And the thing about football is so many pieces in football, all you need is 3 or 4 main pieces to say screw you.
Yeah.
and the whole thing falls apart. If the quarterback don't like you, a simple guy like the center, don't piss off the center. The center can screw that whole game up. The center,
he makes the calls.
Yeah.
4th and inches. Oops. 4th and inches for the win, the center. My bad.
Well, speaking of Adam Gase, Fig, Adam Gase yesterday, he has got the Jets on a losing streak of double-digit points They're continuing to lose by double-digit points. I think right now they've completely said, you know what, we going after Trevor Lawrence. We're in the Trevor Lawrence thing. So I'm gonna ask you, Fig, do you think, especially after Trevor Lawrence threw for what was it, 5 or 7 touchdowns on Saturday, do you think they're really in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes right now, or are they, are they still trying to actually win a game? What you think?
Look, man, they let go of some of their best players
and kept the coach.
Yeah. Which seems like the same thing that they did in Pittsburgh a little while ago when they let go of some of their best players. You know what I mean? Players are the ones who make the team go. You know what I mean? And you let 2 of your impact players go or want to be out, and then you keep the coach. The one piece that I would say, which is weird, that the Jets don't need is a quarterback. I think that quarterback over there is really good. I think the Jets quarterback is decent. And I don't think a quarterback is going to be the answer to the Jets. Like, they'll just lose with a better quarterback. I mean, you put Aaron Rodgers over there. I don't think it's going to make any difference because the Jets need talent in other places.
They need talent.
And that's the problem over there. It's not the quarterback. I mean, you can't win without a decent quarterback.
Everybody needs talent. Everybody needs talent. Everybody needs talent.
Everybody does need talent, but you need more talent on you need more talent on the Jets than you need anywhere else. I couldn't resist that one.
Should play for the Jets.
I couldn't resist that one, talent. I couldn't resist that one. All right, let's switch over to the NBA because the biggest rumor I read on the boards over the weekend, I couldn't wait to do this show, was to tell you all what I heard. And I think both of you all going to go, wow, interesting. The biggest rumor I heard over the weekend is that Derrick Rose may possibly land on the Lakers and that Rondo might actually land on the Knicks because the Knicks is getting ready to roll out a huge paycheck to be able to offer to the Knicks and everything else. Do you see the Lakers talent being a better team with Derrick Rose and without Rondo? Or do you think they should find the money to keep Rondo? But let me just say this too. The Lakers are going to lose. They're going to lose. Let's see. They're going to lose their center. JaVale McGee can opt in. They're going to lose Dwight Howard. They're going to lose Rondo. Avery Bradley's coming back. But they will be able to supposedly keep a couple of other small pieces like Caldwell Pope. You know what I mean? They're going to do whatever they can do to keep Caldwell Pope. But they have a lot of
Kentavious Caldwell Pope.
Right. They have a lot of free agents over that they have to deal with. And I'm not sure if Derrick Rose is going to be one to plug in and he'll help them with a lot of people that leave us. With talent, what you think?
I think they do good. I think that, believe it or not, as good as I like Rondo, as good as Rondo is, you got about a good 20, 30 Rondos in the league. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's a bad thing as long as you can plug, replace and plug. I don't think you lose a step. The Lakers' obvious major pieces, Rondo's not one of them. So I think that's not a bad thing for them. But if New York is rolling out a big paycheck to bring a Rondo, that's not a good look for this new management team we brought in. Because now you're doing much of the old that we've been doing this. Me and Fig grew up on this, bringing in the old all-stars. Like, I don't think that's the direction we need to go in. So I don't know why that would be. I can't see that unless there's some more to that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they're doing it because he just won the chip with the Lakers. They're trying to fill some seats, and they're hoping that he might be able to, talk to the younger cats and get them to come up because they have, the team's gonna be really young. I think that's probably the only reason I wouldn't bring him in. But I would disagree with one part. If I was the Lakers, I would try to keep Rondo because he fits better for the Lakers than he would for the Knicks. So Rondo is chasing a check. Let's be clear. He's chasing a check. He's trying to get paid before he leaves, and then he's going to ultimately go to management. But Fig, what's your thought about Rondo leaving the Lakers and them getting Derrick Rose instead?
I think people underestimate the impact of Rajon Rondo because he's a floor general. He's a throwback to what a point guard is. I think you have two real point guards in the league that I can think of just off the top of my head. I may be missing somebody, but Rajon Rondo would be one. Chris Paul would be the other one. Mm-hmm. Those guys are a throwback to what a point guard is like. I'll get everybody else involved. I'll set up the defense. I'll be the coach on the floor. And if need be, I can do a little bit of scoring. Mm-hmm. I don't expect a player like Rondo or Chris Paul to score more than 10 to 15 points maybe in a game, but get everybody else involved. Derrick Rose is a 2. Derrick Rose is not a point guard. Right. So when LeBron sits down, who's running the team? If you got a Derrick Rose, he's not your point guard. I mean, he can score for you. You know what I mean? But I don't look at Derrick Rose as a floor general and being able to do that. And like Talent said, we've seen the old stars end up in New York before. We get all of the stars that got a layup and a jump shot left in their sneakers end up on the Knicks with $100 million contract. Right. That's ridiculous. Ever since the days of Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, and the boys and stuff like that, the Knicks shortly after that started, grabbing old stars with a nice reputation and name, but they don't have the game to do it. The Amari Stoudemire's, the Rasheed Wallace, you know what I mean? Great players in their prime, right? But New York usually hires them after their prime and give them top dollar, and it's never, ever, ever worked out. And that's why the Knicks are the laughing stock of the NBA, because we get all of the old players when their best games are behind them.
Right. Now, out of Toronto, get this. Out of Toronto, it looks like they're losing a lot of players. Unless they figure out a way to mix and match some money and everything else, they're looking at losing Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka and Fred VanVleet. If Marc Gasol is looking to go to FC Barcelona, he's looking to go back overseas. Serge Ibaka is looking like he might land on the Heat. There's a really good chance he's going to land on the Heat. And Fred VanVleet looks like he might land on the Heat too. It's still early. It's still early right now for Serge and Fred VanVleet, but Marc Gasol is basically out the door. My question to you guys is if that happens, do you see Toronto being a formidable team if they lose those pieces in the next season, or do they not even make the playoffs? But personally, I think if they lose those 3 pieces, I think they're in serious trouble.
I think so too. I think you go from removed from a championship team to average at best. I think you start talking about that 9, 10, 11 seed. I think drastically like that. I think they were in a conversation of top 4 seeds. Now you've got to deal with the 9, 10, 11 slot to fight to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. I think that's
made to pieces.
Honestly, the way other teams are getting ready to get better in the league, I don't see Toronto in there if they lose those key pieces. Because like Fig always says, Brooklyn's getting ready to jump in the mix. They're gonna be higher. Philly's gonna be good. Boston's gonna be good. I mean, you just have other teams that's gonna be good, and Indiana's gonna probably be great. You know what I mean? Or if they move around some key pieces because they can. I mean, you just don't know. But I don't think Toronto's gonna be in the top 8 seed. But if they lose those key pieces. But Fig, what's your thought process in that?
Well, first off, Marc Gasol is on his retirement tour.
Yeah.
So I can see him going to Barcelona. I mean, did you see the way he played? He's showing his age. You know what I mean? He don't have it. He can't lift the team like he used to. Even with the lost weight. Serge Ibaka still has a little bit of game left. He's serviceable. Could be a nice center. And VanVleet is just coming into his own. If they lose those dudes, they not making the playoffs. It's like Taylor said, I don't see them making the playoffs. It don't sound like they're trading them to get some pieces back. It seems like they're going to lose them to free agency. So if you lose those guys, that's your core team right there. Those are 3 of your top players. At least 2 out of the 3. You got 2.5. You got VanVleet, who's definitely one of your top players. You got Serge Ibaka, which is definitely one of your top players. And Marc Gasol, like I said, he's serviceable. but he's a little older. He can't carry a team, you know.
No, but he was really good for offensive rebounds, and he was one in the top 5 offensive rebounds in the league. He was definitely in the top 5. That's why I think they kept him there and they wanted him. And not to mention he can shoot. You know what I mean? Like as being able to shoot as a big man, he's not a bad shooter either. I don't know where he is in the league of being one of the best shooters, but he's there.
He plays in spots. You know what I mean? He could give you a little bit here and there, but he can't. He's not going to give you 30.
No, they're not looking to give him that. They're not looking to give him that. But they in the NBA, you need some bigs to get offensive rebound, and you need some bigs who can shoot if you want to be formidable to make the playoffs. But anyway, my man Stack is in here, so we gotta check the facts with Stack. And
Stacking over.
What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
What up, son?
What's going on? I'm doing all right, man.
How we doing? How's everything for the show today?
So far, so good. I had to let y'all know the next 3 games for the Bucks, right?
Right.
They got the Raiders, the Giants, and the Saints. But they do have after they play the Panthers, they got the Rams, Chiefs, and Vikings and the Falcons like all back to back. So
yeah. So they do have a schedule kind of still up there. Yeah.
I do want to add my little 2 cents because not even just here on the box seats, but even on some of the other almost as good TV shows that are out there. A lot of praise for Brady on this win, and I just don't think it's necessary. I mean, you're talking about 17 completions for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we're giving all the credit to Brady for this win.
It's defense, though. It was the defense.
It was the defense, exactly.
Right.
And then their running game. Like, let's give the credit where it's due. Tom Brady's a great, but yesterday he was a great game manager.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers came out the gate and willed them to them first 10 points on his own. Then he lost his tight end, Tomyan, I can't remember his name. He lost his tight end early, but that was all Tampa Bay's defense in their running game that ran that. I mean, Brady only has 17 completions in 4 quarters. That's 4 completions a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's 40 yards a quarter. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had 16 completions and 2 picks.
But Stack, in the NFL, we know you can win a Super Bowl like that. Defense will win you a Super Bowl.
No. I know you can win a Super Bowl. I'm just mad that we're giving all the praise to Tom Brady.
I'm not.
That other New Yorker, that be on that network over there owned by Disney, and this dude gave all the praise to Brady. Like, dude went on a whole Tom Brady rant. I'm like, bro, 17 completions for 166 yards.
That's it. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers did that. 16 completions for 160. He just had 2 picks instead of 2 touchdowns.
In the NFL, right? I'll say this, you know this well. They don't divide up the win and say, well, you won because of it. They said the team won as a whole. You know what I mean? Like, you win as a whole, you lose as a whole. That's just the way it is. Tom Brady, when he was with the Patriots, to be fair, Tom Brady was with the Patriots. There was a lot of seasons the defense
carried us. Yeah.
The first 3 Super Bowls, we won the Super Bowl because of our defense. We didn't win the Super Bowl because of Tom Brady.
Matter of fact, every Super Bowl that we lost we had the prolific offense. Yeah. We lost all of those
because of our
defensive teams.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I gave credit to Ndamukong Suh. You did. Pierre-Paul for being in the backfield of Green Bay more than some of the running backs. Yeah. And I think the reason that they give it to Tom Brady because the last years it was a lot of turnovers. Yeah. So even though you're managing the game, as long as you don't turn the ball over, you looking really good because
17 for 27. 17
who was the I can't call his name. Who was the quarterback?
Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston.
Oh yeah.
He threw for 5,000 yards.
And he also
threw half of those yards was to the other
man picks though. Yeah, man picks.
He also had 5,000 interceptions, so it don't matter.
You throw for 5,000 yards and 2,500 of them go to the defense of the other team.
Right.
It don't matter. So
I also another thing I heard that kind of just threw me off because I used to think that Talent was a basketball guy, right? I thought he was. I really did. But this dude said there's 20, 30 Rondos in the league.
It is. It is.
You ain't gonna. He's not gonna budge off that.
It is.
This is why and Fig alluded to this. He's talking about floor general. I mean, not a lot of guys can take over a game on both ends of the floor while not being the focal point of their team.
But
like Rondo or Chris Paul.
But Stack, hold on. Let me just say this. I'm not gonna argue with either one of y'all about saying. I'm gonna say this. We all know Rondo has a nickname because he plays better in the playoffs. What Talon said, I didn't disagree with him because the way Rondo plays in the regular season is one way, but once it comes to the playoffs, he tunes it up. So that's why he has the nickname called Playoff Rondo. Hold on, let me just finish. There is 20 type of guys who play like Rondo, same numbers and everything as during the regular season, but in the playoffs, there's not 20 Rondo. There's not.
I guess for me, it's this. For me, it's this. The issue with the league is you have a lot of guys, you know what you're going to get every night. Rondo, I hate the playoff Rondo nickname because really when he was on the Celtics, it wasn't just, Rondo plays better in the playoffs. It's Rondo plays better when the lights are shining the brightest. And there's no place where the lights shine brighter than Madison Square Garden. Whenever it was a nationally televised game, if it was a Christmas game, if it was a Thanksgiving game, if it was just a marquee matchup, if it was Thursday nights on TNT,
if it was
Rondo always would elevate his game.
If it was national,
hold on. He just made my point, Frank. Hold up, Frank. He just made my point. You just made my point.
How?
So you're telling me that there's not 20 guys in the league who sporadically shine and
no, it's not. I'm not. No. I'm saying sporadically. There's dudes that sporadically play well, but there's not a lot of guys in the league that have a next gear. Rondo has that next gear. That's what I'm saying.
And you see it sporadically. You don't see it every night.
Zach, you're making his point. You're making
my point.
Well, no, but sporadic is like you don't have control of it. Like you just might go off one night. Like a streaky shooter is sporadic.
That's not what sporadic means. That's not what sporadic means. Don't put feeling into the word. Right. The word has no feeling in it. Sporadic is all over the place, randomly happening. Not
exactly, randomly. That means you're not flipping the switch. Rondo can flip the switch. Lance Stevenson is sporadic.
So answer me this, Stacks. Why doesn't he flip that switch every game? It's only 82 in the season.
He flips the switch every single time. It's a nationally televised game, and it's a marquee matchup every time.
Let me make the point. Rondo, his name is Rajon Rondo, but his middle name is sporadically. Actually, it's random.
Okay.
Right.
It's Rajon Rondo.
I like random because it's 3 R's. I like that.
Just call him Rondo. His name ain't even Rondo.
Rondo.
The
3 R's.
All right, well, let's just leave it at this. Let's leave it at this. What he said, he's right, and at some point, what you're saying is right too, because you're both are saying two different things, but it's the same thing. Because Rondo is 20 different guys during the regular season, but he also does turn it up in the playoffs. That's why he has a nickname. He does
more important games, right?
Yeah,
more important games
from the games. He does do that. And
I remember when it was Rondo and Jimmy Butler on the Bulls. If Rondo didn't get hurt, they was gonna knock the Celtics out of the playoffs. Because like 2015, we couldn't do nothing with the Bulls. They had us down 3-1. Then Rondo got hurt, and we was the higher seed.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think the Knicks should pick up. I think Rondo will be good for the Knicks if they're good. If they're trying to reestablish the culture. The culture. I don't think they should overpay him. I don't think they should overpay him. I do not think they should overpay him. But I think that culture-wise, if you put him around kids like Kevin Knox and the rest of the young boys you have there, Rondo's a complete jerk. Like he really is. And to practice with a guy like that every day and to be getting that type of,
it's gonna make it better.
It's gonna get better.
Yeah, it's gonna make it better.
I will say this to what Stacks had a great point. To add on to what you're saying, it does make sense in one aspect, Fig, to sign him in New York. Culture, the word culture. If you take a guy who's fresh off a championship and put that in that locker room, that does something for these young guys.
And he got 2 rings.
But that does something culture-wise for those young cats there these guys are 2, 3, and 4 seasons in the league who are aspiring to get what this guy has. So if you're going to bring in a vet, I guess you bring in a championship vet.
So let me ask you this. I got one thing to say to that. When have the Knicks ever been smart with their money when it comes to a person that has a star name. I know that exactly what you said is 100% correct. But you know what the Knicks is going to do? They're going to give Rondo $100 million over the next 5 years. Because that's what Dolan does.
They are going to overpay him. They are going to overpay him.
Next 5 years.
That's why I think he's going to land on the Knicks, because they are going to overpay him. But he could help in some aspect change the culture. But they need more pieces, which is where the problem is going to be, because they're not going to have enough money to pay for the other pieces.
I see him getting 3 years, like no more than 45. Maybe
that's what I said.
3 years. He's
going to probably get 3 for 35, between 335, 3 to 45, and he's going to probably get that. And the problem
on the Knicks got the young talent. I think he'll actually elevate their level of play, because not only is he going to be coaching these guys on the floor, he's going to be coaching them in practice, and he's going to be the main one getting them the ball.
And he's also going to be able to possibly be able to go in management, like literally when he retires, he'll probably be able to stay in New York and then probably become an assistant coach on the floor, because he's going to probably work that deal out with the New York management when he signs. Like,
Who's coaching the Knicks now? Who's coaching the Knicks now? Is it Thibodeau?
Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
So this is the history with Tom Thibodeau. When Rondo won a championship in Boston, Thibodeau was the #1 assistant in Boston.
Right.
Before he went out to Chicago.
Which is the reason why I think he's going to land on the Knicks.
And Thibodeau always gets his guys. Every team Thibodeau goes to, he brings his guys. Taj Gibson, whoever else. He's like brings all of his players.
And you also got to say, when Thibodeau was coaching the Bulls, Rondo was playing for the Bulls. You know that too. So
Thibodeau when Thibodeau went to Minnesota, he brought his boys over there too.
Yeah. So now Thibodeau is in New York, and who do you think he's going to sign? That's what I'm saying.
Get his guys.
Okay. All right, you got the two Boston guys have agreed that Rondo should go to New York.
No. I didn't say that.
We're not agreeing.
I didn't say that. Boston guys agreed that Rondo should go to New York. Listen, listen, let me finish. I'm not discrediting the Rondo signing. All I'm saying is financially,
they're gonna overpay.
He can't hamper us.
Okay, but don't say what we didn't say. We didn't say he should go to New York. We said he would go to New York. It's two big differences because of the payment money that they're gonna offer him. I don't think he should go to New York. I don't think anybody should go to New York. I think there should be a mass exodus. Everybody should be saying, we need to get the hell out.
Mass exodus. The exodus already started now. Honestly.
That's what I would do.
Porzingis started the exodus. When Porzingis didn't want to stay.
Right.
Yo, man, let me tell you something. Who wants an injury-prone unicorn?
Listen, this is my thing, though. This is the legacy.
Tell me the full season that Porzingis played.
You know what?
What year was that?
That's okay.
When
Porzingis seems to be doing all right for himself in Dallas right now.
He got injured in the playoffs.
Y'all booed the man on draft night. There was children crying in the stands at the draft.
We got him.
Let me tell you something, Stacks. We don't miss Porzingis. We miss Melo more than we miss Porzingis in New York.
Yo, look at the Mavericks. The Mavericks is a bunch of ex-Knicks. You got Porzingis, you got Gallinari, and what's his name? Is Felton still over there?
Yeah, he's still there.
And
Dallas is where players go to die. Everybody know that. Dallas is now. You ever watch The Lion King?
Yeah.
In
Elephant Graveyard.
Yeah.
Yo, and guess what else? They got Tim Hardaway too.
Yeah, they got Tim Hardaway.
Hold on. Now, did you call the Dallas Mavericks the Elephant Graveyard?
Dennis Smith. No, Dennis Smith was in Dallas. No.
Dallas is a team.
Remember Uncle Scar had all that.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you all this since I got you all around at times winding down. What do you think? We talk about the NBA. What do you think is going to happen to Carmelo? Because right now, I've been reading the boards and everything else. Right now, even though he had an okay season, people are talking about how bad his defense is and that he should retire. So, Talon, I'm going to start with you. Do you think Melo should try to stick on another team, or do you think he should retire?
No, definitely not retire. I mean, he did too much work to come back and prove that he can still play this game. So we can't take that from him. I think that if he's even thinking about retiring, get on the phone, get your agent on the phone, come back to New York, play a final season, retire your shit as a New York player.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that point, I don't think he's there yet, but in another season or two, when you feel like that, that's how you should exit.
And that's the reason why the Knicks suck, because they will do just that. They will get on the phone, bring him in. He can't play no D, and that's why they suck.
So, but that's respect. That's respect.
No, that's respect. I would be cool with that.
On some real stuff, Frank, on some real stuff, when he was a Knickerbocker, his defense had went up because Carmelo came in with 0 D. When he came to the Knicks, he at least got his defensive game up and elevated to play enough in New York. Problem was the ball went through him, so that the offense would stop too long instead of working the ball around for the open shot. You always trying to find Melo. You didn't put no pieces with Melo. You let him exit. You disrespected him on the exit. That's the only reason I say come back to retire the right way.
How many years ago was that, though, Talent? That was years ago. He's not even close to the same player he is now. So
no, he's way more in shape now than he was back then.
In shape, possibly, but he's not a better defensive player. And Tom Thibodeau is all about defense.
Hey man, listen. The truth of the matter is, as far as defensive prowess, Melo is right on par with James Harden. They both play the same defense.
Right.
Matador. That's the word that Clyde Frazier uses. Matador D. We just let you go by. Yeah. But it just is what it is. Melo was a star. So you bring him back in and he played 15, 20 minutes a game. You know what I mean? Drops 10 to 20 points. You know what I mean? Serviceable. You can do that. You can do that with a Melo as long as you have the players with him.
Let's be real, Fig and Frank. I think that those days that we grew up on with all that defense, some days are gone. Them days are gone. You're only seeing real D in the playoffs, in the finals, because it is the playoffs and the finals, and it's like some do or die shit going on. But all through the season, it's run and gun country town, man. That's why we're watching games in 135 and 140.
I'll have to give it a shout out.
Actually, I disagree.
Hold on a second. I want to give a shout out to Lois Robinson. She said she saw a clip on Melo today. He said, yeah, it looked like he's looking real good. But Stack, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
No, as far as Melo goes, honestly, I would like to see him playing with the best point guard in the league, who is truthfully and has been for a long time, but we don't recognize him as a point guard because he's so big, LeBron James. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Carmelo on the Lakers. And I know that, people won't roll their eyes, but LeBron's true position is point guard. He's a floor general. He's got the best court vision in the NBA. We know that. And in his late years, we'll be putting him at PG. I would love to see LeBron at the point with Melo on the wing. That's all.
Okay, I'm going to just say this. I don't know why you always try to start an argument when we always got
an argument. No, he's a point guard.
You always do this to me, Zach. You always
he's a point guard.
You always throw this haymaker like, we're gonna have to pick this up tomorrow.
It was a jab. It was.
Man, this dude he want everybody to play with LeBron. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis,
Serena Williams, Venus Williams.
Gonna play with him? Jesus Christ, what we gonna bring back? We gonna bring back Wilt Chamberlain too? Let's get Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell to play with him. How about those guys? How about Tommy Heinsohn? How about that? Can we get Tommy Heinsohn?
All right, y'all. That's the show for today. And we're going to leave one note where everybody's playing with the Lakers. How about that? We're going to leave with that note. Everybody's playing
even Serena and Venus Williams.
Yeah. How about that?
We'll bring Charles Oakley out of retirement.
Yeah, Andre Agassi. How about that? Let's bring Shaq and Kitty. Let's bring the whole TNT
and what Latrell Sprewell back in the league right now.
And let Ernie Johnson coach.
There we go.
So tomorrow on Box Seats, we got to finish talking about the NFL. I hope we can have a guest. I'm trying to line up some guests. Tomorrow we got to definitely talk about Cam Newton and what happened with the Patriots. We're going to talk about the Bills, the game tonight. We're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to see, because there's 2 more games happening tonight. We already got our picks in last week. And the way I said it before we got on the air, the way my picks came in, everybody who I picked is going to lose. So, that's how it's going to be. But anyway, Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Way to throw it to me. Everybody gonna lose. Hey, you can find me on Twitter. It's just comedy. Talented comedian on IG and on Facebook, King Town Harris. Fig, tell me where to find you, Fig.
You can find
Fig.
me right there. You see where I'm pointing to? It says Comedian Fig right there on all social media platforms, baby. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And if that don't work, go down to that page right there where you can find that boy talent. I'll be on that page too, baby. I'll be on everybody's page. Maybe I even switch around and let me see. I can't get it right. But anyway, I'm gonna be somewhere. Just find me.
So Nostradamus, Stack, where we gonna find you at?
Yo, y'all can catch me at the Elephant Graveyard scouting new talent for the Knicks. If you can't find me there, catch me at Stack and Nova on Instagram and Twitter. Always here on Box Seats Monday through Friday with these three gentlemen.
The Elephant Graveyard, Stack, really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm Frank Colton. That's Fig. That's Talent. That's Stack. You watching the Box Seats one every Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 o'clock on the Humor Mill channel. Please download the app. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and even tell your people to add the Humor Mill channel on your cable service provider. Until then, we'll see y'all tomorrow. We out.
Yeah.